Did you notice that what you stop doing is just as important as what you start doing? In today's episode, I'm going to be talking to you about things that you need to stop doing right now if you want to be successful and break the chains of that eating disorder once and for all. I want you to stop doing these 10 things if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling trapped in those disordered thoughts and those disordered patterns that are controlling your life. Please grab a journal and a pen today because you're going to want to reflect on this after you listen to today's episode. Let's dive into today's show.
Hey girl, welcome to the Her Best Self podcast. I'm Lindsay Nickel, former competitive figure skater and perfectionist, turned God-led imperfect boy mom and digital CEO. If you find yourself constantly thinking about food and wondering if you'll wake up one day free from the obsessive thoughts and behaviors controlling your life, then I've created this podcast for you because I know exactly what it's like to be a downright hot mess trapped in a destructive cycle of disordered eating. I finally found freedom, and you can too, girlfriend. So if you're ready to heal your relationship with food and body and break the chains of control and show up in your best health, then grab your favorite Tarjay journal and let's get to it so you can start living your best life as your best self.
Hey there, beautiful friend. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Lindsay Nickel, and today I am fired up about something that I see happening over and over again with women who are struggling with eating disordered patterns and thoughts and behaviors. There's this frustration that comes when you feel stuck in the journey. When you're putting in effort, but you still feel so chained to those food rules, that body obsession, and that little voice that's in your head that just will not be quiet. And I hear it from clients day after day. Lindsay, I'm trying everything, but I feel like I'm on a hamster wheel. And today, sis, I'm getting straight to the point because I want you to stop doing these 10 things if you feel stuck and chained to eating disorder patterns. Because sometimes freedom isn't about doing more, it's about stopping what's keeping you trapped. If you've been feeling like recovery is this elusive thing that other people get to experience, but somehow it remains just out of your reach, then today's episode is especially for you. So please grab your favorite journal because I want you to take notes if you're able. And if you're not, just come back to this, play it again. I want you to think about, as I walk through these 10 things, which of these might be keeping you stuck in your own journey. Obviously, it's going to depend upon maybe where you are as you're navigating freedom from disordered eating. If you're just diving in and you're starting to think about, I do feel like this is a problem in my life and I want to see change happen, then you might not notice all of these little things that are keeping you trapped in this place because maybe you're a little bit still in denial. And that's okay. I lived there for a very long time. I'm just honored that you're listening. You could be a little bit further along and where you're like, every single one of these things resonates with me so much so that I just am done. I'm so done. And that is the perfect place to be. So let's start with number 1 on the list today. I want you to stop waiting for perfect circumstances. Okay, the first thing you need to stop doing if you feel stuck is waiting for perfect circumstances. I cannot tell you how many times I hear things like, I'll fully commit to recovery after my wedding. I'll fully commit to recovery after my kid goes to school. Or I'll start when work gets less stressful. Or I'll be ready once I move into a new place. Or after my divorce. Or after summer. Here's the truth, girl. There will never be a perfect time to heal. Because life doesn't pause so that you can work on recovery. Recovery happens in life, not separate from life. And the eating disorder voice loves to use this waiting game against you. It's going to whisper that you need the perfect environment, you need that perfect support system, you need that perfect meal plan before you can really recover. But this is just another form of control and perfectionism, which I know because, hello, my name was perfectionism. The very thing that is fueling your eating disorder in the first place is waiting for perfect circumstances. Because think about it. If you're waiting for these circumstances to be just right, then you're essentially saying, I can only recover under ideal conditions. And when has your life ever been ideal? Like, when has anyone's life ever been ideal? Recovery doesn't require perfect circumstances. It just requires a decision. I talk about this pretty much in every episode that I record for you. A decision you make again and again and again in imperfect moments on hard days and messy situations, because that's where real healing happens. So I'm going to say it again. Recovery happens in life, not separate from life. Number 2, stop spending your time and energy on things that are not your priorities. Okay, this is a game changer. If you get nothing from today's show, stop spending your time and energy on things that are not your priorities. This one hits close to home for so many of my clients. When you're in recovery, your time and energy are your most precious resources. Yet, I see women spending hours scrolling through social media accounts that trigger comparison. They're attending events that cause anxiety without proper support, or they're engaging in conversations with their friends about diets and weight loss because they don't want to seem difficult or awkward. Every time, girl, you invest your energy in something that doesn't support your best self, you're essentially taking resources away from your healing. It's like trying to fill a bathtub while the drain is open. You're never going to get that thing full, okay? I had a client, let's call her Becky, who was struggling to make progress despite doing all of the, quote, right things. When I looked a little closer at how she was spending her time, I realized that she was still participating in these weekly workout challenges with friends that constantly triggered her exercise compulsion. She didn't want to disappoint her friends because she was known as like the fit friend. Believe me, we've probably all been there, right? But this one activity was undermining everything else that she had going on and everything that she was doing in her recovery. When she finally made the decision to prioritize what she really wanted over these social workouts, things started to shift in her life. She found other ways to connect with those friends that actually supported her healing journey and quite honestly were wondering if she was okay and why she was doing it in the first place. So I want you to ask yourself, where are you leaking energy? What activities, what relationships, or what habits are you maintaining that directly conflict with your recovery priorities? Your assignment is to identify these energy drains and to start redirecting that precious resource toward what actually matters right now, and that is your healing. In a recent episode, I talked about watering you. You are the assignment. So stop spending time and energy on things that are not your priorities and get real. Do like an inventory. What do I want for my life? Is it a choice? Is the decision that I'm making right now for that or not? Number 3, love it, but I want you to stop comparing yourself to everyone else. Stop comparing yourself to everyone else and seeing your life through other people's eyes. Comparison is a recovery killer. It actually is the recovery killer, plain and simple. Because when you're constantly measuring your journey against somebody else's, you're not actually living your own recovery. You're living in reaction to what you perceive about other people. And the problem with comparison in recovery is twofold. First, you're usually comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. You don't see their struggles. You don't see their setbacks. You don't see their messy moments. You only see what they choose to share with you. And then second, your recovery journey is as unique as your fingerprint. So what works for someone else is not going to work for you. It just might not. And the timeline that makes sense for your body and your history, it won't look like anybody else's. I've had clients who were making beautiful progress in their journey, but they couldn't see it because they were so fixated on how a friend or somebody that they followed online seemed to be doing it better than them. They couldn't celebrate the weight restoration because somebody else seemed to be more comfortable in their body than they were. And they couldn't acknowledge that their victory of eating a fear food was even a really great thing for them because somebody else was posting about having food freedom and something that they faced. When I was going through my own personal journey, I had a support group and we all met in person, and it was, I don't know, I just spent a lot of time comparing myself to them. Like, did I look as sick as them? Was I the sickest one there? It was just this weird cluster. Awful. I hate even to say it out loud on the show, but I'm just being real with you and authentic because, hey, that's who I am. But the true reality is this: the only person that you need to compare yourself to is you of yesterday. Okay. And that is how I had to start viewing those sessions with the group support, because for me, it was constantly triggering and in my face. I wasn't there to heal. I was there to compare. I was there because I felt judged, and none of that was working. And I continued to remain stuck. And so I want you to know that it's okay. Like, comparison is okay. We do it. We're human. But are you making choices today that the you of yesterday would be proud of? Are you moving even slightly in the direction of more freedom or of more healing? That's the only comparison that matters. Number 4, stop changing course. Stop changing course. Results take time and commitment. Recovery, girl, isn't a sprint. I know, we want it to be a sprint. It's a marathon. Actually, scratch that. It's not even a race. It's a journey, and journeys take time. But so often, I see women come to me and they abandon approaches that they actually have been doing in their life that were working to some extent, simply because they aren't working fast enough for them. You try a new meal plan for a week, or you try a new meal structure for a week. You don't see immediate results, and you switch to something else. You work with a therapist for a month. You don't experience a breakthrough, and you look for someone new. You practice a coping skill a few times. You still struggle with anxiety, and you decide it just doesn't work for you. And the constant changing of course is exhausting. And girl, that is preventing you from gaining the momentum needed for lasting change. Recovery tools and skills, they're like muscles. They're going to get stronger with consistency. And if you're constantly switching between different approaches, then you never give any of them a chance to truly work for you. I actually call this the recovery whiplash. And it's a common pattern that I see in people who feel stuck. They tried everything, but they haven't stuck with anything long enough for it to transform their relationship with food and themselves. So before you abandon what you're currently doing, I want you to ask yourself this question: have I really given this a fair chance? Like, have I really practiced this consistently enough to see results? You see, sometimes the path to freedom, it isn't finding the perfect approach, even though I do believe that the Freedom Formula experience is pretty close to the perfect approach, but it's committing to a good approach long enough for it to work for you. And if you're wondering, what is the Freedom Formula experience? That is a one-on-one support, premium support that I provide to my coaching clients to help get them from stuck to thriving, from surviving to thriving. So if you want to learn more about how you can partner together with me, I only have one offer because I feel like it is the best offer ever. And it is personalized weekly one-on-one support. You can find out more at herbestself.co. Number 5, stop thinking you are so out of the ordinary. I actually always say, like, stop thinking you are a magical unicorn. You are not the only person who has ever navigated this, girl. You're just not. This is a big one. So many times I hear, my situation is so different, Lindsay, or my eating disorder is so complicated, or recovery might work for everyone else, but my case is unique. I've been doing this for decades. Let me give you some clarity. While your specific combination of experiences, traits, and challenges is indeed unique to you, the core patterns of eating disorders are remarkably consistent. And the human brain and the body responds to restriction, responds to purging, responds to binging in very predictable ways. The psychological mechanisms that drive these behaviors follow patterns that have been observed and studied for decades. So when you believe your situation is fundamentally different from everyone else's, you unconsciously give yourself a reason why it might work for other people, but not for you. And this just becomes a self-sabotage and a way to make this excuse to stay stuck in your mess. And I know that can sound harsh, but there we are. I've worked with countless women in recovery, and I can tell you that while everyone's story has its own details, the underlying struggles share very common threads. The woman who developed anorexia after a traumatic loss, the executive who had bulimia, who purges to manage work stress, and the mom who binges and then feels completely out of control around food and then overexercises later, they all felt like their situation was uniquely hopeless until they realized that they weren't alone. There is tremendous power in recognizing that others have walked this path before you and found freedom from it. Hello, like, reason why I started this podcast. It means freedom is possible for you. Your eating disorder wants you to feel isolated. That is what it wants. It wants you in that struggle because isolation keeps you vulnerable. Connection to other people with shared experiences is one of the most powerful recovery tools available to you. And I don't know about you, but instead of walking the hard and lonely path by myself, I want to find somebody who's done it and can get me there, going down the windy roads, a little bit easier than I could if I was doing it by myself. And that's the importance of working with a professional, of getting support, of raising your hand and being like, enough is enough. I am tired of doing this. That is why I love coaching, because I feel like if you have that advocate that has already walked in your place, in your path, then like you're just destined to win. So I want you to stop believing that you were so out of the ordinary, because you're not. I mean, I love you, girl, but you're not. Number 6, stop thinking short term. You deserve lasting freedom. When you're in the grip of an eating disorder, your focus narrows to getting through the next meal, the next day, the next week. This short-term way of thinking, it actually makes perfect sense when you're in survival mode, but at some point, continuing to focus only on the immediate future can actually keep you stuck. I see this when clients become so focused on small victories, like getting through a fear food or challenging a bad body image day. They get so out of sight and out of sorts with this bigger picture, building a life where food and body are no longer the center of your life. Now, don't get me wrong. Those small victories, they matter, but they should be stepping stones towards this larger vision, not the entire focus. Okay, so when you're thinking short term, you might make decisions that provide immediate relief. But what that's doing is undermining your long-term healing. You might avoid a challenging but necessary conversation because it will make today harder for you. You might revert to a food rule because it eases your anxiety right now, even though it strengthens the eating disorder voice over time. Recovery requires balancing the day-to-day work with a vision of what you're working towards. So what does that freedom look like for you? Who are you beyond your relationship with food and body? What becomes possible when you're no longer chained to those patterns? Are you showing up that way now? I can guarantee you that your answer is no. Because if you were, you probably wouldn't even be listening to this show. But you deserve that vision of lasting freedom. Not just a good day here, not just a good day there, but a life where your worth isn't measured in calories or in pounds or in kilos, like where food is nourishment and pleasure rather than a moral battlefield, and where your body is appreciated for all that it can do and experience rather than how it freaking looks. Like, I am so tired of this. So I want you to start thinking in terms of years, not days. What kind of relationship do you want to have with food and your body 3 years from now? How about 5 years from now? 10 years? Okay. Hold that vision alongside your daily work and let it pull you forward when the path gets so hard and tough for you. Before we dive in to the rest of these things that I want you to stop doing, we're going to pause. We're going to stop right here. I want you to noodle on these things. And then in our next episode of the show, I'm going to bring to you hot the remaining steps, the remaining things to stop doing right now. In the meantime, what you stop doing is just as important as what you start doing. And if you're eating like you respect yourself, this is a game changer. It's higher standards for yourself. I want you to come back here on Friday, and I'm going to drop the second half of this episode so that you can stop doing the same thing, expecting different results. All right, girl. I'll see you soon.
Oh, friend, thank you so much for letting me share what was on my heart today. My hope for this podcast is to help more women find freedom from food and body. If this has empowered or blessed you, let me know. I'd be honored for your rating and review of my show, and I'd love to connect with you in my private Facebook community. You really can move from perfection to purpose. Let's break the chains together. I'll help navigate the way. Until next time, bye for now, girl.